Mysteries and legends, where the unexplained meets the unforgettable. I'm your host, Don from Investigation 13. Join me on a journey into the unknown, where we'll explore the strange, the bizarre, and the inexplicable. From ghostly encounters to cryptic legends, we'll dive into the stories that will leave you questioning what's real and what's just beyond the veil. From ghostly encounters to unexplained mysteries, we'll explore the most bizarre events from around the world.
Welcome to the stories and legends of the unexplained. It's the unforgettable, unforgettable. I'm your host, Don from Investigation 13. Join me on a journey into the unknown, where we explore the strange, the bizarre, and the inexplicable. From ghostly encounters to cryptic legends, we'll dive into the stories that will leave you questioning what's real and what's just beyond the veil. From ghostly encounters to unexplained mysteries, we'll explore the most bizarre events from around the world. Yeah.
Dr. James Reed, a seasoned paranormal investigator, had always been drawn to the darker corners of history. When he heard about the MK Ultra site in Montreal, he knew he had to investigate. The Allen Memorial Institute, where Dr. Ewan Cameron had conducted his notorious experiments, was said to be haunted by the spirits of former patients. As James began his investigation, he sensed a presence that seemed different from the usual energy he encountered. It was a faint whispering, a soft murmur that seemed to come from all directions. The words were indistinguishable, but the tone was unmistakable, a sorrowful, mournful cry that seemed to echo through the halls. James's equipment began to pick up strange readings, and he started to feel a creeping sense of unease. He saw shadowy figures darting around the edges of his vision, and the whispers grew louder, more urgent. It was then that he realized the presence was not just a general energy, but a specific entity, the spirits of native children who had been subjected to the residential school system. The children's whispers grew louder, their voices pleading for help, for understanding, and for justice. James felt a deep sense of sorrow and regret wash over him. He knew that he had to honor their memories and share their story. As James continued his investigation, he began to experience strange and vivid visions. He saw the children, their faces etched with pain and fear, their eyes filled with a deep sadness. He heard their stories, of forced assimilation, of cultural erasure, and of the trauma that had been inflicted upon them. The visions were intense, and James felt himself becoming more and more connected to the spirits. He knew that he had to find a way to help them, to give them peace. He started to research the history of the residential schools and the impact they had on Native communities. Through his research, James discovered the truth about the trauma and pain that had been inflicted upon the Native children. He learned about the survivors who had come forward to share their stories, and the healing work that was being done to address the intergenerational trauma. James realized that his investigation had become more than just a paranormal case, it had become a journey of discovery and healing. He knew that he had to share the story of the Native children, to honor their memories and to help bring about justice and reconciliation. The investigation concluded with James feeling a sense of sadness and regret, but also a sense of hope. He knew that the spirits of the Native children would always be a part of him, but he also knew that he had a responsibility to share their story and to help bring about healing and justice. James's investigation had uncovered a dark chapter in history, one that he couldn't shake off. He became obsessed with learning more about the residential schools and the impact they had on Native communities. The whispers of the children continued to haunt him, their voices echoing in his mind. As he dug deeper, James discovered the stories of survivors who had come forward to share their experiences. He heard tales of abuse, neglect, and cultural suppression. The more he learned, the more he realized the depth of the trauma inflicted upon the Native children. James's obsession with the story began to take a toll on his personal life. His relationships suffered, and his health began to decline. But he couldn't stop. He felt a sense of responsibility to share the story, to give voice to the voiceless. One night, James received a mysterious package with no return address. Inside, he found a collection of documents and photographs from the residential schools. The package seemed to be from an unknown sender, but the contents were unmistakable. The documents revealed the extent of the trauma inflicted upon the native children. The photographs showed the harsh conditions, the broken spirits, and the lost innocence. James felt a wave of emotions wash over him: anger, sadness, and regret. As he pored over the documents, James began to experience strange occurrences. Equipment would malfunction, and he would hear whispers in his ear. He started to feel like he was being watched, like the spirits were guiding him. James knew he had to share the story. He began to write articles, give talks, and create documentaries about the residential schools. The response was overwhelming. People reached out, sharing their own stories and experiences. The whispers of the children began to fade, replaced by a sense of purpose. James knew he had found his calling, to shed light on the darkest corners of history and to bring about healing and justice.